Without further ado, everybody get comfortable. Fasten your seatbelts. We are going for a ride. And that ride is called Nippon Sangoku, Episode 9.
I think of it like a way to make it sound like public transit, like we're all taking a journey together, like Nippon Bus Goku or Nippon
Bust Goku?
No,
Nippon
Nippon San Train Ku.
This,
No. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, friends. I really apologize today. I'll get my juices flowing, I swear to God.
Nippon Sangoku.
Nailed it. We all bought tickets. I'm in, Greg. 100%.
Okay, here we go.
Take me on the Shinkansen.
The Shinkansen, Nippon Sangoku. Episode 9.
Yeah, it works.
I think in English it works, but I don't think it actually works in Japanese. But that's okay.
No,
we start. If you look to the left outside of your train seat, we will see Maruoka Castle at 8:15 p.m. 8 degrees Celsius. And soldiers sent anonymous ballots about Wajima being too scared. And the higher up officer dudes are like, Wajima, just kill these dudes that put in these anonymous ballots. And she's like, nah.
Which is weird because they're anonymous, but whatever.
I made the wrong call. But then it cuts to Fukui, Reihoku Castle. Same time, same temperature. And 70% of the civilians have been moved into the castle. And the dude reporting to Kaku is like, we should close the gates. And Kaku is like, do you know why the Great Revolt broke out in this country? And Kaku believes it was repeated forced policies that ignored the will of the people.
Who would have fucking thought? Who would have thought that would be what makes people revolt? I'm looking at you, fucking America.
What do you mean? You don't want to abandon your people on the other side of these closing gates to save yourself?
Yeah.
But Kaku believes it was repeated forced policies that ignored the will of the people, and closing the gates might be the best utilitarian choice, but we need to consider everything until the very last moment. But then there's a report of Ryumon, and Kaku goes running. And Ryumon is on a stretcher, and he's like, hey, what's good?
Dude, okay, he looks like eye-patched Wilford Brimley to me. I know that every Gen Z, Gen Alpha, anything under fucking elder millennial at this point is not going to get this. But it's Wilford Brimley, which is basically the guy on the fucking oatmeal.
Quaker Oats.
Yes, Quaker Oats. And his insane fucking face. And he just looks like that to me. I know it's crazy. Wilford Brimley had a full head of hair.
And he had like a colonial cap on too.
Did he really? Well, yes, but anyways. Yeah, but he had a mustache. But to me, this is just anyways, fuck. We're already sidetracked. Shit. We're down the rabbit hole, boys.
But Ryumon is on a stretcher and he's like, hey, what's good? Just so you know, Wajima's arrow didn't waver in the slightest. And if my tea preparation had a moment of hesitation, I wouldn't be here right now. And Kaku, thanks for sending me off. And then the sexy Top Gun electric guitar starts playing, and Kaku is like, sick. Well, back to work. But then he passes out in the rain.
This screenshot's really hard to see, but whenever there's like a distortion in this show, there's like this boxed layering over people and over the imagery. Like later in the episode, we see like green boxes over like some people's thought processes and stuff. Like obviously in the show, we've seen like purple boxes, and this mosaic happens pretty frequently, but it makes the screenshot hard to see. So if you can't, he's falling and like it's just, he's all wavy and stuff.
Tsune in particular, he has like the purple background, and I don't know if the colors pertain to like certain people, but I feel like anytime like Tsune thinks about something, normally it's about how much he thinks Aoteru is an idiot, even though Aoteru obviously is not an idiot. They always have this box style overlay on it.
Yeah, maybe it is pertaining to people.
I don't mind it at all. I think it's like actually a cool, nice touch. Mm-hmm. Just so like it kind of signifies that we're talking about inside of someone's head here, and he's not just shouting this all out in public. Mm-hmm. But it cuts back to Maruoka Castle, and Wajima apologizes to Hei for not taking his counsel, and she is not fit to be the commander-in-chief. But Hei takes off his gloves and holds her bare hands in his. And he's like, why would the one who chose to retreat for the sake of the people, instead of carrying out the revenge they longed for, be unfit to be commander-in-chief? And even if you retreat, you'll be alive to press forward again. She's like, you right, you right. And then he makes a little finger puppet out of his gloves. And he's like, before we march, we need to restore your authority. And she's like, well, if I kill the dudes that wrote those letters, then it would be considered a purge. And he's like, don't worry, I've got this. He shouldered the burden and wrote a letter blending truth with fabrication about his own deeds, and basically said he was a giant jerk and made the shitty orders and basically rallied all the soldiers. The other commander dudes, some of which who are his sons, are like, dude, what the hell was that letter? And he's like, my decision is made. History tells us how dictators who lose authority lose the battle. And if shouldering all of this avoids that, then I'm good. And he's like, I need you boys to side with the letters. And I'm not dying. I'm just stepping down. Wink.
Dude, okay. I stood up and I was like, what the fuck when this happened? Because, like, what a fucking 12D chess maneuver. He's such a great strategist that he understands that she most likely from here will lose the war due to low morale of the Sei clan. Or the Sei nation. Sorry, I shouldn't say clan. She's already made it apparent that betrayal is almost in the new Sei nation growth when they were originally going to make the pact with Yamato and join Yamato. Killed those people. And then this dude is just like, I'm taking one for the team, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you on the other side. And then just fucking pieces out. What a hard-ass motherfucker.
He is putting the nation above himself.
Everything in the nation above himself.
He knows what he's doing. Hey, he's not an idiot. He's saying like, oh, I'm not dying. I'm just stepping down. Wink. Like,
he's just
knows.
telling his sons, like, it's cool. I know what's about to happen. And he's not oblivious, because when it comes and they like, we'll see as later, he's not oblivious to what's going on. When they do make the judgment call, he knows that he's going to walk into that room and everybody that's confused is going to want his head because they think he's a traitor. We, as the viewer, know that he's not a traitor and she just made a bad call. And it's like, my heart breaks for this dude that worked 25 years to try and build up the Sei nation under different oppressions and finally gets into a position where he can make very real and tangible differences in the world and helps build this nation up. And then he's like, oh, I realized our commander-in-chief made a mistake. And if we're going to continue, I have to take a knee here. And not take a knee, but take a fucking spear to the chest.
And it had to be him. Because like none of the other commanders, I think, could have successfully pulled this off because he took all of the blame and the only casualty. Well, we'll get into it into a second. But the only casualties were him and
some random fucking poor
random guy, right?
Some guy that was like just doing his job, and he's like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
So, yeah, like, I mean, as opposed to, like, killing all these soldiers that wrote those ballots, handing out capital punishment, and to destroy morale, he made this calculated decision where, like, okay, I can basically get everything back on track if I sacrifice myself and, like, one other random dude. And the reason why it works is because he was so close to Wajima and everyone knows him. And then because of his power, he's able to kind of influence the other soldiers and like do all this stuff. So it couldn't have been like one of his sons here, any of the other generals, because they aren't as close to Wajima as him. So like it had to be him. But and then another dude walks in and Hei is like, are preparations complete? And he's like, yup. The soldiers I have know nothing of the letter and only know to apprehend a certain individual. And he's like, sick. Time to attack the commander-in-chief's residence. The narrator says Hei led an operation and it was known as the Yayakichi Rebellion. And he killed one guard and then was apprehended. And the soldiers that didn't know shit were told it was an assassination attempt and he was branded a traitor. Everyone now was clamoring for his death, and now he's face to face with Wajima. And she's like, explain yourself. And he keeps playing the part of a traitor. And she's like, man, why are you trying to make up for my mistakes? But he holds true to his part. But the other higher up officers are like, no, I'm shit. take me instead.
I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus.
But one of his sons is like, Pops, I get what you're doing, and I got you. And he doubles down with his dad that he should be publicly executed. Wajima is like, man, this isn't how I wanted to trust you, Hei. But she sentences him to death by crucifixion.
That guy in the background, by the way, has a full-ass beard. He looks like the guy that you, like, the old Etch-a-Sketch where you had the magnets and then you should put it, like, on the beard and hair.
Exactly. I was trying to think of what that was. Yeah, it just looks like he has a bunch of metal dust on his face held together with magnets.
Wooly Willy. That's what it was.
But the narrator says Hei was born in year 2 of the Yamato era in the Uzan province, and as a child was raised under the anti-Yamato policy, and it goes over his other achievements and cleared what was true and what wasn't in that letter he sent, where he was a pretty good dude, but yes, he also did kill Wajima's older brothers because they sucked and helped her to rise, and he died at 58. And I thought that part was really cool because I was like, oh, he killed Wajima's brothers? Damn. But that was the whole reason why they said he blended the truth with like fabrication. So he made up the part where he was trying to like take Wajima's position. That's a lie. But then it's also true that he killed her brothers. He crafted this letter in such a way to basically fool everybody that he was a traitor. Like he had the perfect letter, the perfect strategy, the perfect everything to make this plan work.
He's literally the opposite of Denki, but in the same situation. Like, Denki's killed his way to the top, but it's not for the betterment of the nation, it's for the betterment of himself. And he will sacrifice everyone else for himself, right?
Yeah.
Including his child. And for Sei to survive, he had to do all of these crazy-ass heinous shit. And now it's, like, on record, and they're seeing, like, okay, all right. Like, if you were a random citizen just, like, going to your fucking factory work all day or, like, farming or whatever, and you're like trying to keep up on the news and you hear, oh, our commander-in-chief ran from a battle because whatever reason, and they spin it however they want. And then you hear about this guy who's like the orchestrator, all of it. You're like, dude, that's crazy. What a conspiracy theory. What the fuck? You're not going to look into it more. But we as the viewers see all of this just wild shit happening in the show. It's so good.
They string Hei up, and Hei's sons are like, damn, this is fucked. We got to win this war now. And Wajima has a montage of hanging out with Hei. But then, yeah, basically from there, Hei is crucified, strung up, and then Wajima has to give the killing blow to Hei. And as Hei is bleeding out, he basically has a heart-to-heart with Wajima. And then now all loyalty and morale is restored with the death of one man.
Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, we always talk about political intrigue and, like, thriller-esque scenarios in this show being awesome. This scene is like, with how much Wajima trusted Hei to do everything, and then one mistake on her part of not listening to him and making a good judgment call. He realizes that he's going to have to die for it. She's going to have to shoulder that burden for the rest of her existence, where every time she is advised to do something from anyone, she's going to second guess her own thought process. And then realizing that killing the person that has rode with her from the jump and been her right-hand man, and then to have to kill him with his dying breath saying like, hey, it's chill. I orchestrated all this. And then her turn around and hear these people demonize him and say that he deserved to die. Dude, this whole scene, hard as fuck, dude.
And that shows how fragile this rebellion and dictatorship is, and how fragile the Sei nation is right now. Without Wajima, they would have accepted Denki's unconditional surrender, and now it would have just been part of Yamato, and then, you know, now let's move on to Buo and take over those guys, right?
Yep.
So, like, this whole thing is very like House of Cards. Any wrong move, everything's going to come down. And Hei understood that. So he's like, man, if I have to die to make sure that this like glass house that we built doesn't come crashing down, so be it. And that's pretty cool.
Also, I wonder if Kaku's going to see through it and be like, yo, I know that guy was a brilliant strategist, and like he was never going to betray. His name And his family name will go down in history as one of the biggest traitors if they succeed in this war. If not, he's literally forgotten.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't that suck though, where it's like in another world, if all of these people just could have been friends, like they would have been like the coolest friend. How sick would it be if like Wajima and Ryumon were just hanging out and they're just like, damn, man, you hit me with that fucking arrow good. And she's like, I'm surprised you finished that fucking tea ceremony, man. Like just having a normal conversation. That was sick as fuck.
It was crazy, right? Just hanging out, smoking cigarettes in a sauna. Just fucking vibing, you know?
They would have been like best of friends, but you know, they're put in this position where they have to kill each other.
Invisible lines, basically. Man, they divide us all.
Yeah. But it cuts to Osaka, where news hasn't spread of Hei's death yet, and Aoteru rolls up to the Emperor's palace to gamble the fate of the nation. And that's how episode 9 ends.
Good. This show is so fucking good. I can't wait to watch the next episode.
I think you'll like the next episode.
I think I will, because I love this show. It's fucking great. It gives me a chance to flex my brain. It's our first on the, the list of the week, and I look forward to watching it every single time. I love starting with this show because the animation's beautiful, the storyline is wonderful, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, it's on a trajectory of being a very high score for me.
Yes, it's already like an 8 or a 9 for me.
This isn't like normally the genre that I gravitate to. And if I just had to preliminary kind of go through my thought process of my scoring, right now, like it's hitting like maximum marks in terms of
it's
animation, story, and character development.
It is strong. It's been doing push-ups this whole time. It's going to be maxed out.